Nepal is in flames, the streets are burning, protesters are defiant, and it's quite clear that the government has lost control. What started out as anger over corruption and social media restrictions in the country has turned into a massive nationwide revolt against the political establishment. The Nepalese army chief and the president held urgent discussions on forming the next government after the Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, resigned, the capital resembling a battlefield. Those are the images on your screen. Crowds earlier set fire to the residences of the former Prime Minister and senior cabinet members, cars lying overturned, government buildings vandalized. Even Nepal's Parliament building went up in flames.
This is the situation at the moment in Kathmandu Valley. I'm standing at the main road of the parliament. There is a parliament which has been set on fire. This is the motorcycle rallies that has been ongoing for celebration, and they're celebrating the resignation of the Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli. And currently the army chief and the president are in talks to decide the further course of the government formation.
In fact, on Monday, police cracked down with force. Amnesty International saying officers used live rounds against the demonstrators there. The United Nations has demanded a transparent inquiry. At least 19 people have lost their lives, more than 400 injured. Despite indefinite curfews in Kathmandu and other parts, thousands of young protesters returned to the streets, clashing with the security forces in defiance.
Why is there so much anger here? The international media believes this is happening because social media is banned, but no, this frustration has been building for over 2 decades, fueled by corruption. Every one of us has had enough. These thugs have troubled us time and again, and what you see now is just a spark ignited by social media.
We are very saddened by all this. We had never expected that it would get to this point. The massive protest rally on the streets clearly shows how frustrated and disappointed the young generation is.
In fact, the former King Gyanendra Shah, who has largely stayed out of politics over the past 2 decades, issued a rare statement. He expressed grief over the deaths and urged the youth to protest peacefully. And back on the street, security forces were seen airlifting ministers from their residences located in close proximity to Kathmandu. Senior officials being sheltered at army barracks for protection. In a statement, the Nepalese army has said that it is fully committed to discharging its responsibility of safeguarding national independence, sovereignty, geographical integrity, national unity, and the security of the Nepalese citizens. The government lifted the ban on social media late Monday night, remember? But the chants now go far beyond free speech. Demonstrators accused the ruling elite of corruption, nepotism, and enriching themselves while ordinary citizens suffer unemployment and poverty. All right, our correspondent Saloni Murarka has been tracking those developments on the ground very closely, is now joining us live on the broadcast. Saloni, I have to ask you to piece together for us the latest that you have at this point.
Yes, we have just received an official statement from the army chief himself. He has been holding meetings since late afternoon, and the calls for him to come out in the public and address was increasing. Protesters, the public here were asking for him to come out, and finally he has said that addressing and citing the violence that has taken place today. And he has called on the protesters for peace and for dialogues, and that heavy officers from the army will be deployed on ground from 10 p.m. today.
If you can just describe to us what it's like out there on the streets of the country right now. Of course, those images suggesting the kind of anger that the people have expressed and taken out on multiple offices, leaders. If you can tell us a little bit more about what you've been hearing.
Yes, of course, the situation here remains tensed. I mean, if you take a walk around these streets, you can feel the tense, and the smell of the smoke is there in the air in the entire city. Constant smell is there. There has been vandalism across the city, and in every part of the street, they have burnt tires, they have looted properties and brought it down to the streets and burned them as well. And so they wanted to continue this, it seems, because the resignation from the Prime Minister came in around 12 o'clock today in the afternoon. And that's what they were demanding. But but what is not, what exactly surprising is that the vandalism continued even after 12 p.m. In fact, it escalated after that. And exactly that's when we saw that the parliament was set on fire, how the former prime ministers were lynched, were attacked. The ministers were attacked, their houses were set on fire. Everybody were tensed for their lives. And this is the first time that this country has been witnessing such tense moment at the time. And here still people are in fear that what might take place tomorrow, because the movement, the Gen Z's movement, they have announced a few more launching attacks on particular communities here in Nepal. So we'll see tomorrow how it pans out. But still here, like I was talking to some locals, they're scared for their life. They believe that even if we have not been part of the protest and movement, they might be attacked by the protesters. Because during the daytime, those protesters were not ready to compile or not ready to even support the normal civilians, and were trying to threaten them. So that's what we have seen the entire day. So the public here is very scared, and not only in Kathmandu, in fact, but across the country. And since the late afternoon, that is after 3-4 o'clock, the entire nation has been waiting for the army chief to come out, to deploy, to come on ground, because nobody here at the moment is ready to take the responsibility, because there's no one at the moment who can take the leadership and control and put the system down on ground. So everybody here was just waiting for the army chief to come out and at least give a statement of assurance of safety.
All right, Saloni Murarka getting us those details from on the ground in Kathmandu. Thanks very much for the moment. Of course, keep coming back to you. The army and the country's president, in fact, requested all the countrymen to remain calm and exercise restraint. Our correspondent, Saloni Murarka, has been reporting from the heart of the protest sites, getting you relentless on the ground coverage.
Surrounding the parliament area, they burned the tires. They burned the tires here right in front of the parliament building. And now stone pelting has just begun from both the sides. Police officials are guarding the premises of the parliament. They say that the rising corruption and widening inequality has tortured the civilians of the country, and that's why all the people and the young people, they leave the nation. what began as a peaceful protest against the corruption and misgovernance has quickly turned violent. The main federal parliament of Nepal building is on fire. The entire building has been set on fire by these protesters. The property has been completely damaged. As you can see, this is the entire building. And these protesters, you can see here, are also celebrating the decision of the Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, to resign. He has submitted his papers to the President, resigning from his position, compelling him after he lost his support not only among the public but also within his own government. As you can see, the protest is still continuing. It seems there are some shots, hearing of the gunshots, because many of the protesters are carrying guns which they have looted from the police stations. They have set the police stations on fire, and like many other party offices. As you can see, this is the main road of Kathmandu, where the parliament is situated. Right across the road is a parliament building which is on fire. The army chief and the president are currently in talks to decide the further course for the formation of the parliament and the government. Continue to escalate in the capital, Kathmandu. I'm standing at the moment at the international airport of Nepal, where you see there's a heavy deployment of army officials who have been deployed to secure the airport premises. And while on this side, the protesters are trying to barge inside the compound of the airport. The international airport is on high alert. The airport authorities have informed that the international wing of the airport has been shut down for a while for security reasons. And these protesters here believe that many of the leaders and the Prime Minister will try to flee the country, and that's what they want to stop.
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.